just an entry whereby you record some small expenses, like expenses like 50 naira, 70, 100 naira, unlike that of 1,000, 100,000, and so on. So you can operate a petty cash book system in preparing any small disbursement or any expenses that has to do with postage, stationery, and the like. Under it, we'll be talking on interest system. That means you are operating petty cash book on interest system, which will be given an illustration. We'll be given two illustrations: petty cash book system on its own and the operating petty cash book on the interest system. Now, what is interest system? Interest system is a system for recording petty transactions which are paid out of cash. The system is set up by a given specified sum known as cash float to the cashier in order to cover petty expenses during the period. Then the petty cashier will pay out money from the float for all authorized voucher at frequent interval. It will be reimbursed for the amount spent, just bringing it to the original amount. Now, here under interest system, there's something we call it is the cashier that is being paid some cash float. So out of cash float, the cashier covers the petty expenses like we said the other time, postage, stationery, and the transport. But here under interest system is the difference between petty system. You are running petty cash book with on the press system is that you reimburse at intervals. Maybe during the month from 1 to 30, you must reimburse the cash float at least at the middle of the month. But if you are operating petty cash book only, it is you operate it from the beginning to the end. But under interest system, at the interval, you make a kind of reimbursement. That means you will reimburse the amount that you have spent and thus bring it to the original amount. We illustrate petty cash book and the interest system. Now, illustration on petty cash book. Let's not forget the organization that do normally operate interest system is government, whereby they use what we call voucher. You know, government, enterprise, government organization, ministries, and parastatals, departments, they make use of. There is an officer, cash officer, that is in charge of any cash, and any amount that will be taken out from the government must be attached with what we call voucher. So if you have anything that has to do with voucher, that means you are dealing with a government transaction. So every voucher must have the name in front of it, voucher 1, 2, 3, that the authorized cashier will pay expenses on that cash float that is given. So it is cashier that operates that kind of system. It covers expenses that the department or ministry must have incurred during the month or year, depending on the period. Now, based on the format, then you are going to prepare petty cash book on it. Now, let's attempt the illustration that we are given above concerning the particular topic we have just treated. We talk about petty cash book. So the illustration on petty cash book says the following is the summary of petty cash transaction of KBAC Limited for May 1999. The information are given above. But before we go into the illustration, let's go to the format of a petty cash book, because that is a background which we are going to follow, how to draw our columns and rows in order to deal with a petty cash book. This is the format of a petty cash book. We have a receipt side, we have folio, we have date, we have details. Likewise, we have total. And don't forget, in the question, they said you are required to rule up the suitable petty cash book with analysis column 4. So those columns, those details that was given, we are going to input it because those are the expenses that was incurred in the petty cash book. We have a motto, we have cleaning. This is cleaning. Then we have motor expenses. We have motor expenses, and likewise we have postage. We have postage charge, and we have traveling, and we have ledger. So having done that, then we are going to rule it, the columns. So here it goes. So I haven't done that. Then let's go back to the question per se. Let's go back to the question. Let's go back. So the information given in the petty cash book said may receive from cashier 1,600 as petty cash flow. Now on this side, we are going to write 1,600, and it was, and you put under folio CB, which represents cash book. Then under here you put May 1st on this side, and don't forget there is another thing here which says voucher number. You can represent it with voucher because every petty cash book that will be disbursed must be attached with a voucher, so as to, when there is a need for error or when there is a kind of fraudulent among the workers, so they can easily trace it with the voucher that was being authorized, the cashier is being authorized to pay to cover the expenses. So having done that, let's go to the first information. Second information, May 2, we have petrol, which is 17 naira. So we write May 2, and details is we have petrol. Don't forget this one is a balance BD because it is cash that was given to the cashier at the beginning of the month. So we have petrol, and we trace it. This cleaning, this motor expenses, this budget traveling. So petrol fall under motor expenses. So that is where we are going to post our 17 naira. Don't forget to put naira, and don't forget to put the heading KPAC Limited petty cash book, because those things also attract marks, so that when you are in the exam mode, you don't just go into the question like that. You have to write the heading so that you know the kind of petty cash book, complete petty cash book that you are preparing. Now let's go to the third information. Says May 3 postage. May 3, and the details is postage. Now let's place it to the column of postage. How much is it? That is 16 naira. Postage is 16 naira. Now next is May 4. May 4, that is traveling. That is traveling expenses. And how much is that? That is 60 naira. Sorry, this postage is 90 naira. I made a mistake. So this traveling is 60 naira. So this is 60 naira. Now another information, May 5. May 5, we have we have another postage. We have another postage which is 25 naira. You trace it to the postage columns and you put 25 naira. Now next one we have May 6. We have a petroleum. We have a petrol, and that will be under the motor expenses. So you trace it to the motor expenses. How much is that? That is 110 naira. Now we're going to next information, which is May 8. That is traveling expenses. So how much is it? That is 85 naira. You trace it to the traveling column and put that figures in there. Then we have May 9. It is because it's a sequence order. We can't just jump from May 2 to May 5. It has to be done in an orderly manner. So May 5, May 9 we have cleaning, and that is 19 naira. Let's trace to the cleaning side, cleaning columns. That is 19 naira. The next information we have May 10. That is stationery. We have stationery. And let's create another column here, which is stationery. Let's create another column. So let's create it. Let's trace it down to this. This is stationery, and how much is that? That is 45 naira. Now next information, May 12. May 12 we have another postage. We have another postage. We trace it to postage column. That is 65 naira.